एक बार उसको करके देख लेता हूँ कि आवाज़ मेरी आ रही है कि नहीं। बहुत प्यारा, सही, तो सही आ रहा है बस, तो इसको तो काट ही देंगे, ठीक है। पर देखते हैं। देखो, आज का जो गेम है वो इम्पोर्टेंट है, हर गेम अभी इम्पोर्टेंट है, लेकिन अभी एवरी गेम यू नीड टू विन, बिकॉज मई 11th को शायद गेम है मैड्रिड का बार्सिलोना से, तो वो एक ऑप्शन होगा बार्सिलोना को। अगर तुमको लीग जीतना है इस साल का मैड्रिड को, तो तुम अभी कोई गलती नहीं कर सकते। यू हैव टू विन एवरी मैच यू प्ले, एंड इट्स फॉर लाइक एवरी मैच। अभी ऐसा कोई भी मैच नहीं होगा, ऐसा कोई भी टीम ऐसा कोई भी मैच नहीं खेलेगा, मतलब जो लोग कंपटीशन में है, जैसे मैड्रिड की बात कर रहा हूँ मैं, मैड्रिड ऐसा एक भी मैच नहीं खेलेगा जो वो अफोर्ड कर सकता है कि वो हार ले, ठीक है। देखते हैं। It's been a rough time for Madrid, because there is lot of things going on. Injuries is very tough. देखते हैं, मैं एक बार चेक कर लूँ कि मेरा आवाज ठीक ठाक आ रहा है कि नहीं। यप, मेरी आवाज ठीक ठाक आ रही है। चलो, 742 हो चुका है, ठीक है। एंड अभी अच्छा, कोमो 3-1 से जीत रहा है बस वैसे। और अगर तुम लोगों को पता नहीं होगा तो मैं कोमो का बहुत बड़ा फैन हूँ, मतलब मैं सीरिया में कोमो को सपोर्ट करता हूँ। क्यों करता हूँ मुझे नहीं पता, बस मुझे अच्छा लगता है इसलिए करता हूँ। What is happening? What the hell is happening? Okay, मैड्रिड आज लूनिन को भी चोट है, लूनिन आज नहीं खेलेगा, आज फ्रान गोंजालेस खेलेगा। आई गेस ही इज प्लेइंग हिज फर्स्ट मैच फॉर मैड्रिड, जितना मुझे नॉलेज है, मुझे उतना नॉलेज नहीं है, बट आई थिंक वो अपना फर्स्ट मैच खेल रहा है मैड्रिड के लिए, एंड आई होप अच्छा खेले, ठीक है। Without you, my friend. Players are on the pitch. मैं तो हर दिन बोल रहा हूँ कि we need to score more goals. ठीक है, every day we need to score more and more goals. That's all. ठीक है, there is nothing more, there is nothing less. We just need to score more goals, ठीक है, क्योंकि जो मतलब गोल डिफरेंस है बार्सिलोना से वो बहुत बड़ा है, और मैं अभी भी होपफुल हूँ। और
Good afternoon and welcome to the Santiago Bernabéu. Real Madrid against Valencia, the Valencia team just appearing on your screens right now. The treble is still very much on for Real Madrid. They reached the Spanish Cup final in midweek, beating Real Sociedad. They're back in the Champions League next week against Arsenal, but it's all about La Liga this afternoon. They have to get 3 points against Valencia to stay in the race with Football Club Barcelona, who play later this evening. They're up against the Valencia side, who have gone 17 seasons without winning in this stadium. We are going to start with a minute's silence, which we will of course respect, and then we'll get ready for kickoff.
And Valencia बहुत अच्छा टीम है, by the way. वैलेंसिया इस साल उतना फॉर्म में नहीं है, ठीक है, लेकिन वैलेंसिया अच्छा टीम है। और और एवरी गेम अभी जो भी टीम खेलेगा वो जीतने के लिए ही खेलेगा, क्योंकि क्लोज ऑफ द सीजन है, ज़्यादा गेम्स बाकी नहीं है, फैंस को कुछ तो देना पड़ेगा ना. सो it's like that, man. अभी 16th पोजीशन पे, and I think this is the match when we can afford to play Fran Gonzalez. मैं उसकी जो एबिलिटीज है उस पर कोई शक नहीं है, मुझे अच्छा प्लेयर है, ठीक है, मैंने उसको खेलते हुए देखा है, लेकिन इस पे
Alaves and Espanyol have both got big wins so far this season. Talk of the treble for Real Madrid. They won a dramatic double back in the 2013-14 season, winning the Copa del Rey and the Champions League. Paul Clement was alongside Carlo Ancelotti through that season and the season that followed, and I'm delighted to say that he's alongside me this afternoon. Good afternoon, Paul. Tricky one this afternoon for Real Madrid up against the Valencia side, who have so much to play for.
Yeah, good afternoon, Pete. Good afternoon, everybody. Yeah, really intrigued by this game. Obviously, two teams fighting at different ends of the table. Real Madrid hot on the tails of Barcelona. Really important for them to get a home victory. And obviously, Valencia fighting at the bottom, as you said, with Alaves and Espanyol both winning, pulls them a bit tighter to that relegation zone. Leganés playing tomorrow. So, yeah, very interested to see how this game plays out.
Well, Carlo, not happy maybe that his debutant goalkeeper has had a couple of back passes to deal with in the first minute of the game. Fran Garcia is only 19, his first minutes for Real Madrid, with Lunin on the bench but nursing a calf injury, and Courtois rested nursing a knee injury. Courtois is expected to be fit for that game against Arsenal in midweek, and Lunin presumably is okay if he's needed, but he doesn't start the game. Fran Gonzalez does. Carlo Ancelotti, so far so good this season, but we only have to look at neighbours Atletico Madrid to know how a season can collapse in just the space of a few games.
What an opportunity for Fran Gonzalez tonight, 19 years old, making his debut at the Bernabéu. I saw him training a couple of weeks ago when I went to visit Carlo Madrid. He's an absolute giant of a goalkeeper, real presence in between the goalposts. Interested to see how he performs tonight.
Well, his role model, as it were, is Thibaut Courtois, and maybe a similar sort of goalkeeper, obviously a lot just starting out in his career. Let's see what he does this afternoon against Valencia side, who haven't won away from home all season. In fact, if they fail to win today, it will be a calendar year since they picked up an away win. This is Almeida on the ball. They are missing some key players. We'll talk about the two 11s very shortly. Max Aarons with the ball into Javi Guerra. Max Aarons making his first start for Valencia this afternoon. They're without Fulquier and Gaia, the two first choice fullbacks, and they're also missing Rioja. So it's a back five for them: Aarons, Mosquera, Diakabi, Tarraga and Jesus Vázquez, Almeida, Barrenechea and Guerra in midfield, with Sadik supported by Diego Lopez up front, although we imagine it will maybe switch to a 5-4-1 when they don't have the ball, Paul.
Yeah, I think so. I think we've seen Valencia at various points this season play with a back five, either from the start of the game or changing to a back five later in the game. So they're comfortable with that system, and also with the back four as well. I think they're quite a flexible side.
Vázquez playing the ball back to Fede Valverde. We're also delighted to have Matt Cannon pitch side. Good afternoon, Matt.
Good afternoon, Pete. Good afternoon, Paul. We might have to just take a look at this first, and it runs out of play. Good afternoon. It's always a pleasure to be alongside you both. A fantastic atmosphere in the Santiago Bernabéu. I think the fans want to see a convincing performance today, Pete, because over the past couple of games or so, they've not been particularly convincing. In fact, they've not been that convincing for large chunks of this season. The Madrid fans have very, very high standards. They want to see a good performance from their side as we approach crunch time in La Liga.
It's Taraga's long ball forward. Sadik will chase it down. Sadik, who's scored 4 since arriving from Real Sociedad in the January transfer window. No Goduro still on the bench, although he's back from injury. And there's Courtois, who, as I say, Ancelotti believes will be okay to face Arsenal. Barrenechea rolls this one back to Mukhtar Diakabi. Vinícius Vázquez into Javi Guerra, out towards Max Aarons. He's up against Fran Garcia. And the throw goes Real Madrid's way. And there is Carlos Corberán. He's just clocked up 100 days in the job. Took over Christmas Eve. Pretty much made the decision that he would take on the huge challenge. He turns 42 on Monday, so this would be some birthday present to get his first away win of the season and to do it against Real Madrid.
Corberán's had some good results with Valencia since he's taken over. Obviously got a couple of thumpings against Barcelona earlier in his tenure, but overall has done well. But you have to say, Valencia got quite a tricky run in. 9 games to go, 5 away, 4 at home. 3 of those games are going to be against relegation rivals, and 4 of those, including today's game, are against teams who are currently in the top 7. So every point that they can get now into the run-in is going to be absolutely vital for them.
Well, you pointed out to me just before kickoff that their third from last game is against Alaves. That now looks absolutely huge, particularly in view of Alaves beating Girona in the game before this one. Here's Luka Modric. Lucas Vázquez.
From the right,
Bellingham, who we thought maybe would be rested, but starts another one. Lucas Vázquez with the cross. It's cleared by Taraga, out for a Real Madrid throw.
Yeah, you see the system clearly there. Valencia, 5 back players, and then they fall into a 4 across the midfield with Sadiq, the striker. So 5-4-1 in their defensive shape. Clear to see here now.
Bellingham back to Rudiger. Hero again in midweek.
Vinícius
scored some important goals in cup competitions this season. Antonio Rudiger. Ball into Mbappe. Bellingham tried to get on the end of it, but Barrenechea and Javi Guerra combined to send that one forward. It's one for Sadik to chase. Clashing there with Tchouaméni, and he gets on the end of the second ball, and the referee is happy for play to continue. The referee this afternoon, Guillermo Cuadro Fernandez. Still Sadik, and Modric slides in, and huge cheer for that challenge from Modric, who was, what, 28, Paul, when you were alongside Carlo at the club?
Yeah, just a wee lad when we had him. No, he's actually an experienced player when we had him. He had some good years at Tottenham, but has been such a good player for this club, hasn't he? And still, when I talk to Carlo about Luka and how he's doing...
Chance here for Kylian Mbappe, and it goes past him. He looks across to the linesman, and the flag was up.
Yeah, still incredibly fit. And who knows whether he'll carry on, but such an important player for the team over the last 10 years.
Well, we can see Kylian Mbappe clearly offside. We jumped to the conclusion that he starts today, so he probably won't start in midweek against Arsenal, but let's wait and see. Ball goes back to Mamardashvili, who hasn't had as good a season this year as he had last season. That last season, of course, won in the move to Liverpool. He'll join them in the summer. Max Aarons forward to Diego Lopez. Cross comes Rudiger, and Rudiger makes the clearance up towards Bellingham. Taraga tight to him and dispossesses him, but the referee calls the foul.
That's a couple of times now that Valencia have looked to build short, pulled Madrid onto them, and then gone direct in Sadiq, who's held it up nicely, and then that enables them to get up the pitch. He's obviously an effective target man with his back to goal, and I think we'll probably see that tactic quite a lot this evening.
Brahim back to Lucas Vázquez. Rudiger and Sadik were teammates a long time ago now, back when Sadik was just 19 at Roma. Rudiger already established.
What should I say? Very bendable role, sacrificial role. All are doing that. Mbappe को नीचे आके link up करना पड़ता है, defense करना पड़ता है. ठीक है.
Tchouaméni, who's suspended for that game against Arsenal. in the Champions League, the only suspension from Madrid.
It's not because the players are not capable. It's because we have so much injuries. We have so much problems in our squad.
Madrid there trying to work the ball from side to side, switching the play, trying to stretch out the back five of Valencia. Valencia stayed in their shape and defended that last passage of play very well.
Well, it hasn't gone well for them.
And I think it's worth pointing out very quickly, Pete, that Corberan is very, very animated on the touchline. He's barking orders constantly at his players, and when Madrid are in the final third, he's telling them to step up and not sit too deep and fall into the trap of inviting pressure from Los Blancos, but very, very animated, and just making sure that his players defensively are aware of that threat from Madrid.
Well, he's probably still has nightmares about the game against Barcelona in the season when they lost 7-1. This is a good opportunity for Valencia. Jesus Vázquez with the cross and into the arms of the grateful Fran González.
And
Valverde plays the ball through to Kylian Mbappé. Mbappé racing clear. Can he send it past Mamardashvili, who was toppled by Tarrega? The referee points to the spot, or has he booked Mbappé? Well, Mbappe's protesting to the referee. It looks as if he pointed to the spot.
What is he arguing for?
Well,
from what I could see from pitch side, he pointed straight to the spot.
From one end, ball in behind Vázquez, they get in a good crossing position.
So Mbappé not happy that it's not a red then, Paul, but they've won the penalty.
Beautiful ball by Valverde.
That's what he's so good at, Mbappé making the runs in behind. Valencia very high there, right up on the halfway line, so much space in behind. Tarrega gets the wrong side, can't really go for that ball, just a nudge in the back. Clip ankles, over he goes, not a difficult decision for the referee. You see the contact there.
If he takes it, and we saw him with the ball in his hands a moment ago, it will be goal number 34 in all competitions. And yes, clearly his complaint was that he was the last man and that Tarrega should have been sent off. Whether it's still being reviewed, it clearly is, so he's going to come and look at it pitch side. Now, is this to decide if it's a penalty or not, or to decide if it should be a red card?
Well, I can only think it's if it's a red card, because there's clearly contact
I don't
there.
think it will be count as a penalty.
When the ankles touch,
it's
and he's
takedown,
tripped.
but it's shoulder to
He's
shoulder.
got hold of him by the arm, but I don't think it's that causes the fall. It's just there.
Is that enough contact that it should have called the penalty?
Well, the video assistant referee is Jorge Figueroa Vázquez, who's called across Guillermo Cuadra Fernandez.
And
you can probably hear the whistles ringing around the stadium.
Mbappé put his foot onto the back of the calf intentionally, or whether he's going to strike the ball. Yeah, I think it's the correct decision.
So he was just checking the penalty map.
That's absolutely right, checking whether or not he'd shown the right colour card, and he has pointed straight to the spot, to the delight of the Real Madrid fans. There's a lot of tension inside here. We weren't sure here at pitch side, to be honest, whether or not he was reviewing the penalty.
Very successful the penalty spot for Madrid this year, whether it's been Bellingham or...
It is going to be Vinícius, as you say, Paul. They've switched it between the three of them, Vinícius, Bellingham and Mbappé. It's going to be Vinícius who takes the penalty up against Mamardashvili, and he saved it. Well, Vinícius has had problems from the spot this season. He's foiled again, this time by Mamardashvili. We stay at 0-0.
Obviously the keeper's gone the right way, but it's a poor penalty, not hit with that much pace and nowhere near going in the corner of the goal. Good save though.
Well, Mamardashvili, who, as I said earlier, hasn't had the best season, not by the incredibly high standards he set last season, but he saved the penalty in the opening 12 minutes of this game. Vinícius denied. Here he is again, Vinícius. He's got Fran Garcia to his left, Mbappé to his right, and in the end, neither a pass nor a shot, and into the arms of Mamardashvili.
missed.
Well, I think Valencia have got away with one there, especially with Mbappe getting in behind so easily, and it'll be interesting to see how they defend now, or whether they take that risk of being so far up on the halfway line with Mbappe's pace in behind.
Navigator plays the ball back to Max Aarons. Last touch of a Real Madrid player, so that will be a Valencia corner.
Big opportunity to go one up there. It's a poorly struck penalty. Actually dives past the ball and hits him on the knee. It's a really poor strike from Vinícius. Good opportunity for Valencia here then. Get their big central defenders up into the box.
Diego Lopez is going to take it. There's a queue of those big central defenders all waiting to try and get on the end of this. In it comes from Diego Lopez, and it is headed past the goalkeeper and into the back of the net, and Valencia have taken the lead, and it's Mukta Diakabi who has scored the goal. So Valencia so close to going behind, but Mamardashvili saves the spot kick, and at the other end Diakabi strikes. It's Real Madrid 0, Valencia 1.
Well, first of all, it's an incredible delivery in from Lopez. Puts it into an absolutely dream area for the defenders to go and attack, and the contact is fantastic. Absolutely nothing Franken Gonzalez can do with that.
Well, they have been, and he beats Rudiger in the air, Mukta Diakabi. They have been more susceptible this season to conceding from set pieces. There have been 12 different defensive lineups that Carlos Ancelotti has been forced to send out because of the injuries that we know all about. And that is goal, I think it's goal number 60 that they've conceded this season, which is 10 more than last season.
Real Madrid defending in a zone there. You could see the smaller midfielders on the second line where their responsibility is to block. I think Diakabi got through those blocks quite easily, and in the head had a relatively easy header from just outside 6 yards.
And it is goal 60 in game number 51. Last season it was 50 goals conceded in 55 matches.
ये लोग जितना देर गोल नहीं खाएंगे ना, इनको पंच नहीं होगा गोल करने का. ये लोग क्लिनिकल नहीं होंगे उतना.
Ball over the top from Rudiger. Another one for Kylian Mbappe to chase. He's taken it down. He just couldn't get the second touch to send it past Mamardashvili. Almeida. Jesus Vázquez to his left. Sadik through the middle. Pass was slightly behind Jesus Vázquez, but Valencia still have possession. Sadik plays it back to Diakabi, the goal scorer. Diakabi, whose horror knee injury was suffered against Real Madrid.
Now I feel that Arsenal now scored.
So dangerous, Mbappe, when he plays on the shoulders of defenders. Again, like the penalty situation, this time from a higher position, gets in behind, almost manages to bring down quite a difficult ball and getting in on front of goal.
What's your view, Paul, on the sort of carousel of penalty takers? It's Bellingham, then it's Vinícius, then it's Mbappe.
I think it's a difficult one. Obviously, they're the kind of players that all want to score goals, so sure that they're all confident and want to have those opportunities. But when one's been unsuccessful, you really need to give the chance to another player or another player. But now they're in a situation where all the players have not done particularly well for the penalty spot. So where do you go now? Do you circle back through them again, or do you look somewhere else in the team? But it's certainly been an issue for them, and they could have quite comfortably been a goal ahead now. But the game's spun on its head. Set play for Valencia, and they're staring 1-0 instead of being 1-0 ahead.
Well, this is a big problem for Madrid, Matt, with Valverde down.
That's right, Pete. Doesn't look good, to be honest. He's been on the deck for some minutes now. It was the challenge with Sadik that resulted in that him being on the deck, and the players are actually calling for the medical assistants to come over and lend him a hand. He seems to be in quite a lot of pain. You could see the grimace on his face, but we'll see whether or not Fede Valverde is able to carry on. It would be terrible news for Real Madrid because he's been such a good player for them this season. But I think he has now been helped up to his feet and he's standing on the touchline, so we shall see whether or not he's able to carry on.
Vázquez sends the ball back to...
And Fede now just hobbling back onto the pitch.
Well, that will be a relief to Carlo Ancelotti. We're not sure where Fede Valverde will play midweek in the Champions League, but we know one thing for sure: Ancelotti will be desperate for him to be in the side. Here's Vinícius being chased into the corner by Mosquera. He puts the ball out of play.
Yeah, I've got no doubt that Valverde is Carlo's first name on the team sheet. He's just been an incredible player this season, so versatile, so consistent. Been very, 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 very good this year.
Well, he seems indestructible at times, but that was a worry when he went down there. He's back to his indestructible best, winning back possession, or helping Madrid to win back possession, and they can launch a quick counter here, but Jesus Vázquez gets his head to the ball. And the referee coming across to speak to someone on the Valencia bench, and there's a card coming out, Matt.
That's right. To be honest with you, I'm not exactly sure why the referee has shown one of the assistants yellow, perhaps for not throwing the ball back. I'm not too sure. A comment made to the fourth official. I think it was probably because of that. But yes, one of the assistants shown a yellow card there by the referee.
Fran Garcia forward to Vinícius. Valverde sends it back to Fran Garcia. Ferland Mendy is back and fit, according to Carlo Ancelotti in his pre-match press conference, to come back into the side. But it's Fran Garcia who starts this one. Here's Brahim. Chance for Mbappe, and he swipes it in, and Mukhtar Diakabi has put the ball past his own goalkeeper. And he goes from the man who gives Valencia the lead to the man who gives Real Madrid the equaliser. It's a bizarre goal, and he gets Real Madrid level. Real Madrid 1, Valencia 1.
It's really good build-up by the right-hand side, the combination between Vázquez and Brahim Diaz, and they end up getting a cross in. But wow, what a strange clearance. I'm not exactly sure what he's trying to do there, but he's got a goal at each end of the pitch already. So here's the combination, gets into a good crossing position, looks onside, just
onside. Mbappe's onside.
And that is
the referee's given offside, as far as I understand.
It was a own goal by the
He's going to have a look at it, I think.
Yeah, he's coming across to see how to what extent Mbappe was interfering, because I think it's Mbappe who's the player in the offside position. So this might be the saving of Mukhtar Diakabi. There's another card coming out for someone else on the bench. I think this time it's Carlo Ancelotti. Things not going for him and his team at the moment. And it is offside, so we're back to 1-0 and a big let-off for Diakabi. Ball goes out to Aaron's.
Yeah, big relief for Diakabi. He wouldn't want that one on his highlight reel, because that's the sort of one that gets played and played at the end of the season. And
it would have haunted him for a long time, and to not just to do it, but to do it at the Santiago Bernabéu against Real Madrid, where we remind you Valencia have not won. There's the Mbappe offside.
Very close.
Not won for 17 seasons. Modric plays the ball out to Fran Garcia. Mbappe back to Bellingham. Fran Garcia coming infield, but he's dispossessed by Javi Guerra. Diakabi back to Mamardashvili, who's every bit as responsible as Diakabi for the lead that Valencia have, saving that Vinícius penalty. Kept in by Lucas Vázquez. Javi Guerra Max Aarons has got some space out far right, but he goes far left instead. And this is promising. Jesus Vázquez. And the shot is blocked by Chamonix and out for a corner.
Very quickly there, Madrid very spread out defensively. They really need to be much more compact than that. It was quite easy to play through them. I mean, he was isolated in the end, went for the shot. Gets blocked by the defender and another corner.
Well, the threat will be, as we see again, the Madrid goal that didn't count. The threat once again will be those three centre-backs. Confirmation that Mbappé offside.
offside but
in swinging corner to the near post and headed to the far post, where it was very nearly turned in by Diakabi. Ran out of pitch in the end, and it's a goal kick to Real Madrid.
Oh, Valencia looking very dangerous for the set plays. They'll have belief that every time they get a corner, it's a good opportunity for them. Near post flick on just wide of the far post.
25th minute.
Mbappé coming back into his own half to receive the ball. Gives it to his international teammate, Chamonix. Vinícius hugging the left touchline at the moment. And that's where Bellingham goes with the ball. Fran Garcia in support, but it's put out by Max Aarons. What an opponent for your first start in a Valencia shirt, Vinícius Junior, for Max Aarons.
Fantastic opportunity and experience for the Englishman, obviously formerly of Norwich City.
Oh, he's the first Englishman to play for Valencia, and he maybe would have expected to have more minutes, but Dimitri Foulquier, who was suspended this afternoon, has been in very good form since the turn of the year, as have most of his teammates. That's the Corberan effect. Here's Chamonix.
Real Madrid's most promising moves have so far either come from a ball over the top to Mbappé or some combinations down the side. When Valencia gets set up like this, it's very hard to play through the middle. You see there, blocked off by Guerra. So many players centrally.
Chamonix gets there ahead of Sadiq.
You'll see it again here as the play develops. So Madrid trying to move the ball up the pitch, and comfortable possession here. Valencia falling into their shape. Two central midfielders just sitting in front of that back five, screening the balls off into Bellingham. Bellingham moving across the line just to try and find some space. But Guerra and Barrenechea doing very well at screening the three central defenders at the moment. And this will probably be Madrid's best chance of getting some attacks in the top third by getting it wide, playing little combinations in and around the box.
Well, here's Kylian Mbappé, who's playing his part in those combinations. They want him in the area as well. Is he going to ride for this cross? He isn't, but Fran Garcia is. He couldn't quite get his head to it, though. And the ball is hammered down pitch by Tariga up towards Sadiq. Rudiger gets there ahead of him. Here's Bellingham.
Jude.
Still Bellingham.
Jude.
And in the end, Mosquera puts the ball out for a corner.
Yeah, again, a lot of congestion centrally, just running into traffic there, but doing well to force a corner. And the opportunity for Real Madrid to set something up now that they've either worked out on the training ground or in the video room.
Well, headers, set pieces serve them well in midweek against Real Sociedad. Chamonix and Rudiger with the goals. They're both in the middle. The corner's taken short. Fran Garcia puts it in. It will come out to Kylian Mbappé. He rolls it into space for Lucas Vázquez with the cross. And Diakabi clears. And Almeida couldn't keep it in play. And it's Mbappé, who's everywhere at the moment, takes the throw-in back to Chamonix.
Yeah, again, Madrid trying to find the space down the sides of the penalty area where there's a little bit more space available. Again, you see here, sliding the ball down the side to Vinícius. Fran Garcia continues his run into the box. But it's a poor cross this time.
Well, it's been been a frustrating almost first half hour. Here's the penalty save again from Mamardashvili.
Vinícius penalty was very bad.
And the goal that gives Valencia the lead.
Instantly.
Frank Garcia wins the header. Almeida. Ball goes back to Mosquera. Naviguera once more for Valencia. Valencia not playing like a relegation-haunted team at the moment. And we're used to seeing them not playing like a relegation-haunted team at Mestalla, but maybe not so much away from home.
No, absolutely, Pete. They'll be delighted with the way they've played in the first half. See, had a scary moment with Mbappe getting in behind that led to the penalty, but certainly playing with confidence. They've come with a plan. Will mix up their game, playing some shorter balls and then looking into the front for Sadiq.
Garcia heads clear. Almeida. Sadiq in the penalty area. He goes out to Diego Lopez, who scored 4 in his last 4. Former Real Madrid youth team player. Spent a year and a half in the club's youth academy. And probably Valencia's player of the season.
Valencia is keeping the ball.
Mosquera. Naviguera continues his run. Diego Lopez sends it back to Max Aarons. Barrenechea wants it played to him. Here is Enzo Barrenechea. Diakabi goes back to his goalkeeper, this time a little bit less venom in the ball that the goalkeeper receives from Diakabi. Rudiger out to Fran Garcia.
Valencia being very disciplined with their defensive shape, certainly from this part of the pitch. See, everyone's in position, distances close together from the front of the team to the back and side to side as well. Sadiq doing his part as well, defending, staying in contact with the team. Very good, compact shape.
Defending with the life right now.
Modric in towards Kylian Mbappe, but Tarrega heads clear. And the only way to combat that, Paul, or the only way to get around that is just a faster circulation of the ball?
Yeah, I think so, particularly when they're deeper, you know, when they're around the edge of the penalty area. You're going to find that very limited space in front and behind. And more often than not, the space will be in the down the sides. And when it's blocked off one side, you really want the ball to move quickly to the other side, try and stretch Valencia's back line out to find some spaces. When they're a bit higher, you can play this kind of ball where you're getting in behind. Not successful this time, but Bellingham obviously likes to make that run where he's breaking from midfield. And even better than that is Mbappe. When he plays on that back line, there's no one better in world football that you want to play balls into spaces for him to run onto, because no one's catching him.
Well, a very frustrating first half an hour, Matt, for Carlo Ancelotti. Mistake here, Tarrega clears.
Absolutely, and he's just been in conversation with a few of his assistants, a bit unsure how he can break down this very compact, by the looks of things, Valencia defence. By the way, the Valencia manager in constant conversation with Jesus Vázquez, who's the left wing back today. He's getting a real earful constantly, and just asking his players yet again just to keep it tight, using that gesture with his hands as well. Also, I think it's worth pointing out, really good turnout from the Valencia fans today. Several hundred of them have made the short trip.
So here's the replay from
Valencia, and making a really good noise as well.
A free run.
Back from Brahim to Lucas. Ball goes out to Fran Garcia. Here's Rudiger once more. Vinícius. He's got twice since the turn of the year, Vinícius. Here's Bellingham into Kylian Mbappé. Mbappé gets a shot away, not too far away from Mamardashvili's left hand upright. Kylian Mbappé still hunting down this record of the best ever goals return in a first season at Real Madrid. Ivan Zamorano with 37 goals has the record at the moment, but he has 33 at the moment, Mbappé, so everyone believes he'll break that record. Modric with the corner, Mukhtar Diakabi heads it away. Here's Diego Lopez. Modric tries to prevent the pass, but can't. Almeida trying to get away from Brahim. Cross comes Fran Garcia. Sadik making his way into the penalty area. Back it comes to Barrenechea. Javi Guerra, it's all about the shot there, plays the ball instead to Sadik, and Sadik's shot is blocked by Chamonix. Javi Guerra. Lucas Vázquez, calm head there, playing that into Modric. Lucas, another one of the survivors from your time at the club, Paul. I think it's Modric, Lucas, and the third one would, of course, be Dani Carvajal, who, of course, Real Madrid are missing so much this season.
Yeah, Dani's been a big loss for Madrid this season, obviously because of his consistent performances, but also his experience and his leadership, which is quite a young Real Madrid team.
Vázquez from the right again.
Lucas sends the ball back to Chamonix. Here's Modric. Out it goes to Fran Garcia. He's got Vinícius in support. Modric. 10 minutes before half-time. The ball into Mbappé. Nicely played into Brahim. Mbappé with a shot, and it's tipped over the top by Mamardashvili, who's having a very special first 45 minutes, saving a penalty from Vinícius and denying Mbappé there.
No, if you're going to play through those central areas where there's so many bodies, that's the kind of quality you need, that quick little link-up play that gets the shot off, and very, very good save. Corner.
Modric will take it when Barrenechea is back on his feet. Modric with the out-swinging corner. It's nodded down and off the crossbar from Mbappé. I think the flag is up.
Yeah, it looks like that was offside. It's good delivery in. Rudiger gets up really well, but they pushed up. Didn't think they had anyone on the post, so left them in offside position. Sometimes you have a player on the post that plays him on there, but just offside.
Well, he was probably the best goalkeeper in La Liga last season, Georgi Mamardashvili, and that was some save to deny Real Madrid's top scorer. The ball goes out to Fran Garcia. Vinícius trying to get away from Mosquera, but the three centre-backs at the moment working well for Valencia. As Paul mentioned earlier, it's the system that they've used a fair bit this season. That's sometimes not at the start of games, but towards the end of matches where they're leading. Here's Kylian Mbappé. You can hear the roar as soon as he gets on the ball. He's got Vinícius to his left. Brahim and Bellingham are also up in the support. Vinícius drives for the byline, puts the brakes on, but Mosquera clears.
No, well defended again, Valencia. You have to say, when the spaces open up, really plays into Real Madrid's hands. They want to try and avoid that. They got back well, got numbers behind the ball, and dealt with the threat very well.
Brahim with the ball out to Lucas. Brahim running at Mosquera, running at Diakabi. Vinícius turns and shoots, but he does so from an offside position.
And Valencia will be keen now to get to the half with the 1-0 lead, and that will give them great confidence in the second half. Carlo, I don't think, will be particularly happy with the performance, and he'll be looking for more, certainly more speed in the play.
Well, this fixture, of course, was Carlos Corberan's debut, and it was a close game. It finished 2-1 to Real Madrid in Mestalla, but Rioja hit the frame of the goal in the dying seconds of the game. And as you say, Carlo won't be happy, but he will be from this first half. Carlos Corberan.
Oh, absolutely. I think they've played very well in the system. They look solid defensively, especially when they're in their own defending third. But, you know, when they've had the ball, not on that occasion, they have used it pretty well and have been a threat in counter-attack and also in set plays.
Still going.
Vinícius out to Fran Garcia.
On the left.
Cross is cleared by Javi Guerra. Fede Valverde seems to be running freely once more. Flicks that one back to Rudiger. Here's Modric.
The more and more Real Madrid have the ball in situations like this, it can become tiring for Valencia. Absolutely vital as they keep their positioning. They're communicating through the different situations, and they're maintaining concentration, which will get harder and harder as the game goes on. As they grow tired, can they maintain that focus and all that tactical work that's been put into them by the coach?
Well, they don't have the depth on the bench that they would normally have because of those 3 suspended players. So let's see how that does affect them. Fatigue, mental and physical, in the second half.
These moments here are really important for Valencia. Goes into Sadiq, he draws a foul, gives them a little bit of a breather. Players can get up the pitch and they have a chance to rest a little bit with the ball and try and create some of their own chances.
Diakabi will take the free kick. Fede Valverde into Bellingham. Barrenechea tracking Bellingham. Bellingham still driving forward into the penalty area. The shot just wide of the far post.
Good run from Jude. Very good player running with the ball, strong. Valencia got bodies around him. He manages to get his shot off, but there's always going to be a difficult chance from that kind of distance. It was a good effort.
Well, it's 13 goals and 11 assists this season for Jude Bellingham in all competitions.
Yeah, obviously Jude's numbers were incredible last season, and you have to say they're still very good this season.
Almost half-time.
With a different role, a slightly different role.
Yeah, playing a little bit deeper with Mbappe coming into the team now, more of a midfielder than as a front player, number 10.
Single goal difference.
Oh, that's really slightly sliced his clearance, and it ran to Brahim, but Jesus Vázquez does brilliantly there to get away from Brahim into Sadiq. Sadiq gives it away, but Valencia win it back. Diakabi into Vázquez, Jesus Vázquez. Sadiq gets away from Fede Valverde. Nudges it back to Javi Guerra. Max Aarons is out on the right touchline. He's got Diego Lopez in support. He plays it back to Javi Guerra.
What the fuck?
Into Max Aarons. Well, he tried to give it back to Diego Lopez, but the ball straight out for a throw.
So far, the 2 central midfielders of Valencia played very well. Guerra and Barrenechea very disciplined in their positioning, never too far from each other. When they get the ball, just play it nice and simple, doing a very good job for the team.
Well, it was one of Carlos Corberan's calls when he took over to put Barrenechea really ahead of Pepelu in terms of that central midfield position. Fran Garcia gets the cross in, but it's a comfortable catch for Mamardashvili. Just getting back to the subject of penalties, Real Madrid have only scored 12 of the 17 that they've been awarded this season. And as you mentioned, in terms of the carousel of penalty takers, there have been various players missing from the spot. Mbappe twice, Vinícius twice, and Bellingham once.
Sharing the goals round and sharing the misses round.
Sharing the misses. It used to be so straightforward. Cristiano Ronaldo would have the ball in his hands, and no sooner had the referee pointed to the spot, and there was only ever going to be one player to take the kick. Here's Lucas Vázquez.
Vázquez, Mbappe, Modric,
Valverde. Kylian Mbappe once more having to come deep to find some space.
Under foul.
Wins the free kick.
44th minute.
Coming back.
I think it's worth pointing out, Pete, that Fran Bédez is warming up for Valencia at the moment, so whether or not that implies a potential tactical change or maybe a direct swap for Max Aarons, we'll have to wait and see. But interesting potential change coming up for Carlos Corberan after the break.
Modric takes the free kick into Mbappe. Can he find the space for a shot? He's driven wide, and it's a cross instead, and Sadiq chests it out for a corner.
Sadiq certainly doing his defensive role well. Now he's almost in a fullback position there. Just previously he was back on the toes of Kylian Mbappe. He gave the foul away, which ended up in a free kick.
Modric takes the corner, headed away by Javi Guerra and then by Mosquera. There aren't too many options for Diego Lopez. Fede Valverde stops that from going out for a throw, and it goes back to Fran González. Bellingham. Ball goes out to Modric. Here's Lucas. Brahim. And Diakabi just shepherds the ball out of play, and it's a goal kick.
I think you have to say that although obviously Madrid have had a penalty save, that Valencia are good value for their 1-0 lead at the moment. They've been very disciplined in their shape, done reasonably well when they've had the ball, haven't created a massive amount, but it was a fantastic corner and header, and they've been very disciplined.
Well, it's certainly not going to script at the moment. Valencia have not won here since 2008. They haven't won away all season, haven't beaten any of the top three all season. Madrid have the best home record in La Liga. And what do we have? Well, we have Real Madrid 0, Valencia 1, and we're in to the 3 minutes of added time. The ball goes out to Fran Garcia. He's got Vinícius ahead of him.
I think it almost goes without saying that Valencia will have a difficult second half.
Still, this ball.
Mbappe gets the shot away, but always under it and always going high and wide. Yeah, 45 minutes will seem a lot longer, won't it?
Yeah, I mean, such a hard stadium to go and to play. Get a win, you know, even a draw is so difficult. Madrid will have great belief still, and will go to the very end. We've seen it time and time again where they battle right to the end, even when it looks like there's no chance. Still manage to find a way to win, even when not playing that well.
Well, Rodrigo, Endrick, Camavinga and Goulet will probably be the 4 substitutes that you would look at for a second half comeback. That's what they need, because as referee Guillermo Cuadra Fernandez blows his whistle, It's Real Madrid who have it all to do in the second 45 minutes. Vinicius had a great opportunity to beat Georgi Mamardashvili, but Mamardashvili made the save, and that means that Diakabi's goal is the difference between the two sides as they go off down the tunnel at half-time. A very different game to the one we expected, or certainly a very different result to the one we expected. Half-time at the Santiago Bernabéu. It's Real Madrid 0, Valencia 1. We're going to hear from Almeida.
Offside, corners, दोनों में Real Madrid superior, लेकिन score-wise,
well, we always work set pieces. It's a very important part of the game. You can win games with a goal from a set piece. How important is it that you have a goalkeeper who can save penalties? And he makes a good save after that.
We'll be right back.
Well, I'm not sure whether it was a penalty or not, but he's a very good goalkeeper.
Habéis tenido la fortuna que el VAR ha anulado un gol en propia de Diakabi.
And the own goal was ruled out. I don't know what happened, but obviously it's good that VAR intervened. We need to be on the ball a little bit more. We can't give the ball away so much in the second half, otherwise they attack you and there's no respite from that. So the words of Almeida, join myself, Paul Clement and Matt Cannon for the second 45 minutes, but half-time at the Santiago Bernabéu. It's Real Madrid 0, Valencia 1.
Some players seem to defy the odds. Microsoft AI analyzes millions of data points, including shot angle, defender positioning, and distance from goal, to reveal the exact probability of La Liga's most epic moments. Understand the magic with Beyond Stats, powered by Microsoft Copilot and La Liga.
मैच फंस चुका है, पता है। मद्रिद स्कोर करेगा, लेकिन टफ होगा मद्रिद के लिए, टफ होगा स्कोर करना, क्योंकि वो लोग बहुत ज़्यादा कमिटेड है डिफेंस में। मैं देख रहा हूँ वो लोग चांस नहीं ले रहे हैं बिल्कुल। दे आर यूजिंग देयर ऑफसाइड ट्रैप्स वेरी एफिशिएंटली, और मेरे चैनल पे बिल्कुल व्यूज नहीं आ रहे। इतना गुस्सा आता है ना मुझे, क्या ही बात करो, किससे बात करो, बहनचो व्यूज ही नहीं आते, कोई आंखें नहीं देख रहा बहनचो। ये पहन के मुजरा कर लेता, ज्यादा व्यूज मिल जाते। फालतू के अच्छा कंटेंट बनाता है, कोशिश करता है ना, उसमें कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता। यही मैं बकचोदी कर रहा होता, किसी को गाली दे रहा होता, सब आ जाते मेरे पीछे। ये कैसे कर रहा है, वो कैसे कर रहा है, ये नहीं करना चाहिए। जो अच्छा काम मैं कर रहा हूँ उसमें तो कोई साथ नहीं दे रहा। मैं बहुत ज्यादा गाली देता हूँ, लेकिन मैं फ्रस्ट्रेटेड हूँ भाई जिंदगी से। क्या है, बकचोदी है ये भाई। Performance wise, Madrid is far better than Valencia, but गोल मिल गया, भी क्या कर सकते हैं। सादिक भी अच्छा player, सादिक। सकते हैं इस गेम में।
अभी ढूंढते हैं भाई, अभी ढूंढते हैं।
ना 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 कुछ नहीं भाई, नहीं, हम फुटबॉल देख रहे हैं आंखों से दोस्तों।
एक
फुटबॉल देख रहे हैं, हम नंबर्स नहीं देख रहे, हम पेनल्टी मिसेस नहीं देख रहे। वी नो कि शबीर क्या अच्छा है।
पूरा रीजन इज टू ब्रिंग हिम ऑन फॉर्म, टू ब्रिंग दिस गाय इन द जोन। ये गोल मारेगा, विल फील बेटर। अभी ढूंढते हैं भाई, कोई पॉइंट है ही नहीं, वरना एम्बापे वहां पेनल्टी ना ले
भाई। नहीं, ही पुट दैट बॉल टू एंड, इनको पता
नहीं। द रीजन भाई, एक सेकंड ही तो भाई, ब्रो एक कंपनी द गेम।
ना ना यहां पे ना एक सेकंड भाई, बिफोर तू बोले अभी लेट मी रिएक्शन।
कोई पॉइंट है ही नहीं, वरना
भाई नहीं, ही पुट दैट बॉल टू एंड, इनको पता
नहीं। द रीजन
सारे चांसेस मिले थे मैड्रिड को स्कोर करने के लिए। कुछ ऑफसाइड्स थे, कुछ बाहर मार दिए, शॉट्स हमने थे ऑफ कोर्स। much goal as we can. कितना ज़्यादा पता है? कितना ज़्यादा goal difference है? 32 का. ये 32 है. 54 of ours. सबके साथ 32 का गेम होगा. ये बहुत अच्छा है. 32 अब तक हारी नहीं. जब से एंटनी खेल रहा है उनके इस पे हारे नहीं है. They have won 5 back to back. ने आज भी अर्ली कंसीड किया 15 मिनट्स में.
Welcome back to the Santiago Bernabéu, where Valencia are leading by 1-0, a goal from Mukhtar Diakabi. 1 year and 34 days after he suffered that terrible knee.
To overcome any difficulty, you must work hand in hand as a team to overcome challenges with talent and determination. Because together, we are stronger, and together, we'll go out onto the field to win. BKT in La Liga, a winning team.
Of them still joined by Paul Clement alongside me. Paul, Carlo will be looking for his players to do something a little bit different in the second half, or to be doing what they were doing in the first half, but to be doing it better.
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of what we'll be talking about is when Valencia move into that low block, when they're in position, they're right on the edge of the penalty area, everyone's in position, how to find solutions to break that down. And I think it's very difficult to go through. You saw maybe 1-2 half sort of chances where they got into that space in front of the penalty area, but probably their best moves came when they got it down the sides, or when they attacked quickly early when Valencia were high up on the halfway line. But I think we'll probably see more of the same here from Valencia. When Madrid have got good possession of the ball, Valencia will be defending deep, they'll be defending low, and can Madrid find some space and get some good quality balls into the box by attacking down the sides of the penalty area? No, not right out on the touchline where you're swinging high crosses in, because I don't think that suits the front players of Madrid, but little balls down the side of the penalty area, they can get cutbacks and hard crosses that are very difficult to defend against.
Well, the Valencia players getting ready to come back out. 2008, the last victory here for Valencia. Ronald Koeman was the manager. David Villa scored twice. Those were the days when Valencia used to have 3 or 4 world champions in their squad. It's now down to 3 or 4 internationals, but they're having a remarkable second half of the season. The table since Carlos Corberán took over, they will be 6th, and although as we spoke right at the start of the game, Paul, their running is not particularly favourable. Playing like this, they should be okay. They should have enough to stay in this division.
Now, the previous coach, Ruben Baraja, he took 12 points from 17 games. So, you know, Carlos Corberan's done a fantastic job to add a really good amount of points. And if he takes 3 today, what a scalp that'll be, and the confidence the players will have going into the run-in. And if they don't, it's going to be more difficult because, as we discussed earlier, they do have a difficult run-in, and there's teams at the bottom that are also winning.
Well, that's been the theme of the weekend so far. Can Valencia pick up where we've already seen Alaves and Espanyol leave off by getting all 3 points? We're back underway. Mosquera with a headed clearance. Javi Guerra sends the ball back to Mosquera. Sadik glances that one forward, but there's no one to run onto it, and it's with Fede Valverde.
Yeah, no changes for either team in terms of personnel, and looks like the shapes of the team are also the same, both Valencia and Real Madrid. Both coaches will start to be thinking in the second half about what they need to do in terms of changes. Madrid to get back in the game, Valencia fresh legs and fresh minds to deal with the heavy load defensively that they're having to do.
Well, Sadik has been cautioned for that late tackle on Valverde. Ancelotti would have winced again on the touchline, seeing Valverde involved in another.
This is a red card offense.
Yeah, that's a painful one.
He
got to clear
did
the
that
ball.
intentionally. No.
Sadiq just showing the studs, and then Valverde's momentum going right into the bottom of his boot. They're real painful.
And Madrid, Matt Cannon already with a couple of players warming up at the start of the second half.
That's absolutely right, Pete. It's Camavinga and Rodrigo, the 2 players that are warming up on the sidelines. No one warming up as of yet for Valencia, although virtually all of the substitutes were warming up at half-time. Like I mentioned before the break, Fran Perez was warming up for 5 minutes or so, but he has not come on as of yet. But we will keep an eye on potential changes as we head into the second half.
Ball goes out to Lucas, back to Modric. Valverde sweeps it out to this near touchline. Fran Garcia up against Max Aarons. $75,382 inside the stadium. Modric with the square pass for Brahim. Here's Lucas once more. Chamonix with the cross. It's cleared by Diakabi.
I think that's the right idea. Switch from one side to the other. Vasquez not able to cross, so just sets a little ball back, and really you'd hope for a better delivery from that corner of the penalty box area. Mustn't get cut out by the first defender.
Well, it was Chamonix's cross that was easily cleared. He's on the ball at the moment. Valverde. Mbappe with a shot, pushed out by Mamardashvili. Max Aarons just nudges that out for a throw. Valverde into Vinícius.
Switch it to Lucas Vasquez. Jude.
Bellingham. Almeida is tight to him. He plays it back to Modric.
Give it to Modric. Raheem.
Valencia will be happy with this. With the ball moving pretty slowly, they just stay in position, they're set, they don't really have to worry about too much. So important that ball moves much quicker. Here's a good chance.
It's Vinícius with the cross, and Mamardashvili pushes out for a corner at his near post.
That's that area I was talking about, you know, just little ball played down the side of the box. Mbappe's shot came off a ball that, one of the very few occasions they managed to get it through and past the 2 central midfielders of Valencia.
Modric with the corner, flicked on and into the back of the net. Vinícius scores. He missed the penalty in the first half. He makes no mistake from close range. and we've played just 4 minutes of the second period, and it's Real Madrid 1, Valencia 1.
And now also it's a
Madrid back into it the way that Valencia took the lead from a corner. Good ball in, flicked on at the near post. Bellingham looks like he gets the touch on it. Vinícius getting across. The defender at the far post puts it into the roof of the net, 1-1.
Well, 11th goal of the season in La Liga for Vinícius, only his 3rd since the turn of the year. Just gets in ahead of Jesus Vázquez. And immediate second half reaction from Real Madrid.
Yeah, near post flick-ons are so dangerous. There was one in the first half where Valencia had a flick-on at the near post. Tarega got it to the back post. Sadiq was peeling around and he nearly got to that one. And on this occasion it's Madrid. Good delivery in. Bellingham with the flick-on, Vinícius with the finish. The ball avoided all the defenders in the middle.
Modric. Mbappé tries to find Brahim. Diakabi. Sadiq up against Lucas and brings down Lucas Vázquez.
Important now the reaction of Valencia. They did very well in the first half, but they are at the Bernabéu against Madrid, who are accustomed to this kind of thing where they've been behind, they get back in it, and now they'll be going for the win.
Well, it's Bellingham. He's got Mbappé on the edge of the area. Still Bellingham. Good save from Mamardashvili. It comes out to Heavy Go. The flag was up anyway.
The last thing Valencia want is an open game. Madrid absolutely love that situation where there's big spaces, the players with pace and power. Vinícius, Mbappé and Bellingham love to run in the spaces. They're very powerful athletes.
And just listen to the noise in the Bernabéu. Como no te voy a querer? How am I not going to love you? Ringing around this magnificent stadium. Amazing what a goal can do to lift the crowd. Corberán, by the way, absolutely furious with his defence that they allowed that set piece to hit the back of the net, and just making the most of the pause just before the kickoff to give some tactical instructions to Almeida. Clearly not very happy at all after conceding that goal.
Diego Lopez here. Can he get the shot away? He can, but he sends it well wide. Someone who'll probably be involved for Spain in the under-21 Euros this summer. And 4 goals in 4 games, but off target there. He wins that one back though. Here's Almeida into Barrenechea.
On attack.
Charmany can clear and does so straight to Fede Valverde. Vinícius, and there does seem to be more space for Real Madrid, which is good news for the home side. Mbappé trying to run onto that. He has run onto it. Bellingham is in the middle. He's up against Diakabi, twisting, turning. There's the cross, and the finish couldn't find its way past Jesus Vázquez. Javi Guerra trying to clear for Valencia under intense pressure from Vinícius. Still chasing him down. The ball goes out to Diakabi. Sadiq lays that one off for Vázquez.
No, Madrid so good at when they win the ball back deep, when the spaces are open, taking advantage of that situation on the counter-attack. Valencia have to avoid that at all costs, because if the game starts into a running game, there'll only be one winner in this match.
Jesus Vázquez. Sadiq has made the run. Charmany blocks the pass. And we can see on our screens, Matt, that Rodrigo is being given last instructions. He's putting his white boots on and he's about to come on.
That's absolutely right, Pete. Ancelotti preparing his first change of the night. Also worth pointing out that Corbelan has sent 5 players to warm up. Those players are Hugo Duro, Pepelu, Yarek, Rafa Mir and Fran Perez. So perhaps a change incoming for Valencia as well.
Well, 2 strikers in that list of 5, Paul, Hugo Duro and Rafa Mir.
Yeah, I think it's important for Corberan to use his substitutions wisely. The amount of energy they've had to expend on the defensive side will be very, very big. Fresh energy, fresh legs will be important. I think we'll more than likely see Rodrigo coming on for Brahim Diaz, who's done okay.
Well, he couldn't quite intercept that Diaz, and it goes out to Tarrega, who sends it back to Enzo Barrenechea. Tarrega trots back into his own half, into his position. Here's Sadiq. Barrenechea, Almeida. Back out to Jesus Vázquez. Into Diego Lopez. Trying to exchange passes with Sadiq, although he doesn't get the return pass. Sadiq plays it back instead to Almeida. Here's Jesus Vázquez. Javi Guerra. Barrenechea keeps possession for Valencia, but they can't keep hold of the ball. And the foul is given against Javi Guerra, free kick.
Valencia need to keep belief. I think Madrid do give you opportunities. They don't always defend with all 11 players. Space is available. On the contrary, you see the way Valencia defend. Everyone has having to defend to deal with the quality that Real Madrid have. There's a substitution that we thought would occur.
So Rodrigo replacing Brahim before the hour mark as well. It looks as if there's movement on the Valencia bench as well, so change is imminent there as this one goes back to Chamonix, out to Lucas, forward to Rodrigo. First run at Diakabi for him. He's inside the penalty area. Back to Lucas. Mbappe tried to give it back to Lucas, but Diego Lopez can come away with it for Valencia.
And there you're seeing the change, Pete. It's going to be Rafa Mir, who still hasn't scored in La Liga for Valencia this season. Wouldn't it be a great time to do so and open his account today here at the Bernabéu?
It's Vinícius. Well, maybe no surprises that Sadiq, who's on a booking and has run himself into the ground in the first nearly hour, is the player to make way. But interesting that he goes with Rafa Mir and not Hugo Duro, who's, we understand, he's fully fit once more, but hasn't played for a while because of the injury that he picked up in January. Fede Valverde plays this one into Rodrigo. Back to Lucas.
Real Madrid really starting to get on top and dominate this game now, winning the ball much quicker in the transition when they lose it, getting into some good areas. There's going to be a long 30 minutes, I think, for Valencia.
Well, here's that change that Matt Cohen has told us about. It's Rafa Mir replacing Sadiq. It almost seems, Paul, as if Madrid, I'm not going to say they like to go behind in games because it lays down the opportunity for the epic comeback, but sometimes it is notable that the rise in intensity once they've gone behind in matches, and the fans love it too, the fact that we're behind but we're still going to win this game.
Yeah, it's almost like it's a bit of a wake-up call for them. They start off even, they go behind, and then the energy levels go up, the intensity goes up. It's certainly been a better start to the second half than the overall performance in the first half.
Rudiger's long ball over the top. Mbappe might get on the end of it. In the end, Mosquera somehow guides it back to Mamardashvili.
Yeah, it makes sense to play that ball when Valencia got a high line.
Bellingham tried to feed Mbappe, but it was cut out by Barrenechea. Played forward to Javi Guerra, and the throw goes Real Madrid's way. Bellingham out to Lucas. It's all that he can do to keep it in play. But it's 2 against 1 there. Jesus Vázquez up against Rodrigo and Lucas. But Valencia retain possession. It goes back to Diakabi from Javi Guerra. Not the greatest of passes, and he puts it out of play. So Real Madrid have the throw. Modric out to Fran Garcia. Vinícius up against Mosquera.
Vinícius Jr.
To the edge of the area to Jude Bellingham. Bellingham to Lucas. Lucas sent it to the back post and headed away by Mosquera, but only as far as Fran Garcia. He sends it back into the area. Cleared by Tarrega. Comes out to Rodrigo. Trying to make space for the shot. And it's blocked in the end by Jesus Vázquez. Fede Valverde into Rodrigo.
Again Rodrigo. Lucas Vázquez.
Looks like Carlo's spoken to them about crosses, getting the ball wide, raining the crosses in now, left to right, cross, right to left, cross. Valencia centre-backs need to be super concentrated, getting in good positions to clear these balls away.
Really under pressure now, Valencia. Modric forward to Rudiger. Fran Garcia back to Vinícius. Bellingham and Rodrigo in the middle. Rodrigo got his head to that, but steers it wide.
Just out for...
Now, a decent effort. Always going to be difficult for Rodrigo to get up above a defender of that sort of size. Here's a little moment from earlier. Mbappe getting the pull back. Defender makes a good block. Tarrega.
Ball up to Rafa Mir.
Second half में पूरा ही
Luka Modric. Bellingham makes a run, but holds that run because Modric doesn't go long. Goes short instead to Rodrigo. The nice little flick inside to Mbappe. The referee had a good view of that and sees no foul. Valencia can maybe break here.
No, just a coming together. No foul there.
Late challenge from Lucas this time. Referee allows play to continue, and
going for Valencia.
Jesus Vázquez has stayed down.
It's getting a bit frustrating.
Valencia will be pleased to get a little breather, I think, here. They won't be rushing to get the ball back in. Could do with just keeping it for a few passes, trying to build something themselves. They've had to do a lot of defending to start the second half.
Every time they're like this. That's what I like about my team.
Enzo Barrenechea. Vázquez inside to Almeida. Modric fouled him, so set piece opportunity for Valencia. These are going to be important as well.
Yeah, exactly the kind of situation they want. Patient with the ball, win a set play in an area where they can get their defenders up into the box. Obviously got size and presence. Rafa Mir just coming on as well as a big lad.
I can't say I don't care.
Well, you can see Mosquera and Tadiger have both gone into the penalty area. We saw Diakabi there next to the free kick taker, but he now makes his way into the Real Madrid penalty area.
He is a good finisher.
Well, we certainly saw that in the first half. Both ends. There's the header. It's almost spilled by Fran Gonzalez. He pushes it out for a corner. The 19-year-old, remember, making his debut because both Lunin and Courtois not 100%. Lunin on the bench, Courtois resting.
Good delivery in. I mean, it is a save he should make, but he's such a big lad. They're not easy, those ones that bounce down in front of him. He's such a big lad. Let's see if Madrid have made an adjustment on the way they defend the corner. No, it looks like they're the same. Zone in with the blockers on the second line, trying to make it difficult for them to get a run into the box. And poor delivery.
Yep, too deep in the end from Almeida. Rafa Mir has to chase a long way back to retrieve it, and he then sends it all the way back to Mamardashvili. Must be so frustrating for Corberan. He knows those set pieces are gold, and then he sees one that they haven't planned in terms of the delivery. Ball goes out to Lucas. Rodrigo. Bellingham, nice little flick to play in Mbappe, but Javi Guerra nicks the ball off of him, and Barrenechea floats that one over the top into space for Diego Lopez. Back it goes to Jesus Vázquez. Lopez once more. Nicely played into Almeida on the edge of the area, but he's crowded out, and Chamonix very cleverly comes away with the ball. Back to Fran Garcia. Vinícius comes off second best there. Mosquera is penalised though. They take the free kick quickly. Here's Bellingham. Lucas waving Lucas Vázquez forward. Rodrigo waving Lucas Vázquez forward, I should say. In the end, the ball in towards Mbappe, but it comes out to Max Aarons. His clearance goes straight to Fran Garcia.
Important touch there from Guerra. Mbappe just drifted off his shoulder. The space had opened up. It was a vital touch. Otherwise, he was in on goal alone.
Fran Garcia into Mbappe. Back to Fran Garcia. Mbappe! And just past the post. Oh, he saw two efforts in the first half. Whistle past Mamardashvili's far post. There's one for the second half. Good work from Fran Garcia. Mbappe can't quite finish.
Really well played. Lovely combination between Fran Garcia and Mbappe. Give and go. Returns the pass on a cutback, and that is just wide of the first post. There was a move just previous to this where Bellingham had started the move, looked to combine with Mbappe, and he just turned into trouble. That's really what he needs to do. In and around the box, play the quick give and goes. The spaces will open up.
People, I've been watching youngster Fran Gonzalez in goal for the past couple of minutes or so, and I'm really impressed by his willingness to communicate, and he's not afraid to tell his players where they need to be. Of course, he's only 19 and this is his debut. We have to remind people, but he's very, very vocal. He's constantly telling his players where they need to be, and we saw it in the set piece as well. Just making sure that his defenders know where the opponents are, and we're telling them and reminding them where they should be, which again strikes me quite a lot given he's so young, and this is actually his debut for Real Madrid.
Is that a consequence, Paul, of him training with the first team? Let's just see how this move finishes for Real Madrid. Vinícius plays it back to Fede Valverde, switches it to Lucas. He's got Rodrigo and Mbappe in the middle. Still Lucas. Can he deliver the cross? It's blocked and out for a corner. This is a player he's a youth team player, he's a Castilla player, but he's training every day with the first team.
Yeah, every day is with the first team, so he's developing relationships with his teammates all the time, and it'll be demanded of him by the coaches, especially the goalkeeper coach Lewis. He'll be coaching him in the right way, the importance of being confident and giving your back players confidence and instruction. and good information. They need it because the goalkeeper has a great view of everything. He's the last line of the defence. He's got a picture ahead of him of everybody. He can see things that the defenders can't. So he has to use that. Very good if he's doing that at 19 years of age. He's got a lot on his shoulders today with his debut.
Well, he might have a shot to deal with. Here from Vinícius, he does. He goes through Bellingham's legs, but Mamardashvili at the other end makes the save.
69th minute.
Rodrigo got there ahead of Rafa Mir. Bellingham. Mbappe turns nicely away from Javi Guerra. But Bernabéu with the clearance. .20 minutes left inside the Santiago Bernabéu. Madrid need a goal. They need to keep the pressure on Barcelona, who play later tonight against Betis.
Looks like the two central midfielders now. Valencia again a little bit tired. There's more balls now going in between them as they struggle to slide and get across and make the gap small.
Mbappe up against Tadiga. Tadiga makes the block. It's being helped up by Max Aarons. Gets the cross in, and that's a brilliant save. Valverde with the shot. Mamardashvili palms it away. Real opportunity that for Real Madrid. Well, he's having some game, Giorgio Mamardashvili. Brilliant save in the first half from Mbappe. Saved the penalty as well from Vinícius. And he keeps this effort out from Fede Valverde. And Vázquez does well to stop Lucas Vázquez from turning it in.
And Mbappe does well to get the ball across. His Valverde at full stretch. And then the goalkeeper, good reaction. Shot coming in from 2-3 yards away. Reacts really well. Strong left hand. And the defender coming across and doing his job as well. Vázquez on Vázquez.
Well, this is the effort that he couldn't keep out earlier, with Vinícius on the end of Bellingham's flick. It's drawn Real Madrid level. We're watching replays of that goal, Matt. I'm not sure if changes are being prepared or... No, we're back underway.
Changes are being prepared, actually, Pete, for the away side. And the two players that are about to come on are Fran Perez and Pepelu.
So Fran Perez, who was a candidate to start this game, in the end Max Aarons got the nod, and Pepelu, central midfield player. So let's see if it's for either Javi Guerra or Bernabéu, or if it's just to bolster that centre of the pitch for Valencia.
Yeah, that sounds like the right kind of thing, I think, from Cordoban, is to get another central midfielder on with some fresh energy. Max Aarons not played a great amount of football, so probably feeling the effects now.
Mbappe sends the cross to the back post. Vinícius can't keep it in play. It goes out for a throw.
72 minutes and the score is 1-1. There's a lot of changes.
Yep, we can see the triple change being prepared, Matt, with Pepelu, Hugo Duro, and as you said, Fran Perez coming on. Let's see who makes way.
That's absolutely right, Pete. The three players that are being withdrawn are Javi Guerra, Almeida and Max Aarons. And yes, like you mentioned, Hugo Duro, who loves to score a goal against Real Madrid. He's actually got 4 in the past 7 appearances, so we'll see whether or not he can add to that tally here in the Santiago Bernabéu as we approach the final stretch of the game.
Well, Fran Perez for Max Aarons. And Pepelu, as you said, Paul, stiffening up the midfield, although Javi Guerra makes way too. Almeida the third to come off. So we'll see how Valencia reshuffle after that triple change from Carlos Corberán.
Yes, potentially a shape change here. It's like they're going to go with 2 strikers, and it's how they reshuffle at the back. Will they play 3-5-2 or 4-4-2? We'll soon find out.
What you always get from Fran Perez off the bench is intensity and energy from the very first touch. Here's Chalmany forward to Modric. Mbappe sends the ball back to Chalmany. Here's Rodrigo. See Rafa Mir having to make the 4 in midfield now. Here's Bellingham into Mbappe, laid it off, but only for Pepelu, who clears only as far as Modric. Modric into Rodrigo. Referee had a look at that, but decides to let play continue. Here's Fran Garcia. Vinícius into Rodrigo. Rodrigo gets it back from Bellingham, finds space for the shot. Mamardashvili makes the save.
7th shot.
37 points from a possible 42 coming into this game. Real Madrid at home, best home record anywhere in La Liga this season, but it is under threat. We've got 15 minutes left. We'll cross the match shortly because there are 3 Real Madrid players ready to come on. Fede Valverde sends this forward to Luka Modric, in towards Bellingham from Fran Garcia, but Fran Perez wins it, and then does he run it out of play? He does.
Looks like Valencia 4-4-2 now, with Perez on the right, Pepelu and Barrenechea in the middle, and Duro, Rafa Mir up front, and now Madrid's changes.
So the 3 players coming on are David Alaba, Camavinga and young Brazilian striker Endrick. And those that have been withdrawn are Modric, Vini Jr. and the final one, I may have just missed that, to be honest. Thank you very much. Exactly.
Thanks, Matt. So triple change from Carlo Ancelotti. Ball goes back to Fede Valverde. Well, let's see what Endrick can do in the last 30 minutes of the game. It's been electric in the cup competition, particularly the Copa del Rey. Just the 1 goal in La Liga so far, obviously from limited chances. Here's Rodrigo, back to Camavinga. Dinked forward into Bellingham from Alaba. Bellingham gets across the back post, rising is Endrick. Is that handball? That's certainly what they're appealing. It was Diakabi who made the block. Endrick making his point to the referee, as is captain Lucas Vázquez. It's Guillermo Cuadra Fernandez who needs to make the decision, in consultation no doubt with Jorge Figueroa Vázquez. We can see the replay here again.
No, on the chest. Would have been some impact from Endrick, first touch.
Well, immediately involved in a goal-scoring opportunity, but as you say, his header hits the chest of Diakabi. So no penalty.
So Rodrigo's come across from the right to the left, Endrick onto the right, Bellingham just behind Mbappe, Camavinga next to Valverde, and Alaba now at left back. So no shape change, just a change of personnel.
Well, it's potentially a way into the team for Endrick, because he's not going to displace Mbappe, but maybe if he can produce the same sort of goals and threat from that right berth, Madrid's front three. He's still got it very difficult because he's got Rodrigo in front of him. But
no, of course, but really important at his age and his level of his career, point of his career. He uses every opportunity that he gets, every moment that he's on that pitch. He shows what he's capable of doing and how he can help the team. All those training minutes and hours that he's put in, he makes the most of it when he gets these rare minutes to play.
Ball goes back to Fran Gonzalez. Goes long, and that was a decent ball out to Rodrigo, nodded down to Bellingham. Bellingham gives it back to Rodrigo. Mosquera comes across.
On the left.
Alaba in support. It goes instead to Mbappe. Mbappe trying to find the space for the shot, did, but couldn't keep it down.
Probably the best thing to do is move it on one more. Vasquez was free on the right-hand side. A lot of bodies in between Mbappe and the goal there.
And we can see again what a good block it was from the captain, Diakabi.
Last 10 minutes.
Mamardashvili hangs that one up for Hugo Duro to get on the end of, but Chamonix heads clear. One for Fran Perez to chase onto. Alaba clears. Camavinga back to Rudiger. Fede Valverde. Fran Gonzalez clears. Here's Bellingham. Bellingham looking for ball out to the far right, but it was blocked, and Valencia with a chance to attack Madrid here. Chamonix gets there ahead of Jesus Vázquez, and it goes back to Fran Gonzalez. Rudiger once more. Lucas Vázquez takes it in his stride. Hendrick in support, but the ball rebounds back to Mamardashvili.
This will be the ball, I guess. This will be a draw.
Modric delivering a corner that ends up with someone heading it into the back of the net. We've seen that a few times before over the last decade or so, it seems.
I was involved in a game where Luka put a very good corner in on 93 minutes, and Sergio Ramos headed it in.
That wouldn't have been against Atletico Madrid, would it, in Lisbon?
That's correct, Pete. You remember that game?
Remember it well. Chamonix's clearance run to Pepelu.
इस साल तो नहीं जीत रहे फिर ला लीगा Madrid. अगले साल वैसे कोशिश करेंगे.
Mosquera being closed down by Rodrigo. Rafa Mir can't hold the ball up. Fran Perez wins the second ball though, and he's got it back from Rafa Mir. Camavinga wins it for Madrid. Valverde forward, into space, into Kylian Mbappe. Bellingham joining through the middle, Rodrigo also. And in the end, groans, you can hear the groans from the stadium as Pepelu intercepts. And plays it forward to Fran Perez. Hugo Duro's making a run into the Real Madrid penalty area. Fran Perez up against Rudiger.
It's not holding. They just want to hold the ball.
Pepelo's cross is cut out by Fede Valverde. And here's Rodrigo. Alaba on the overlap. Corberan is urging his players to make runs back. Some exhausted Valencia players out there at the moment. David Alaba sends over the cross, and it goes just beyond Kylian Mbappe. No one gets a touch.
Brilliant cross from Alaba, right in that zone that's difficult for the defenders. The goalkeeper can't quite come. It's just inches away from getting the touch on it. crucial part of the game now. 84 minutes on the clock. Obviously it suits Valencia, the point. I'm sure they take that now. But Real Madrid really need all three. With the run-in they have, having to go to play Barcelona away.
Sit there and watching the game. They're drawing the game. It's better for them.
Camavinga sends another ball forward for Kylian Mbappe, and he manages to stop it going out for a goal kick. And there's another change being planned, Matt.
That's absolutely right. It's Lucas Vázquez that's being taken off by Carlo Ancelotti, as you can see there. Arda Güler, who's coming on to replace him.
When Corberan looks at his team, Paul, and he looks at those three centre-backs, and they start looking a bit leggy and exhausted, does he think about the change, or is the preference those three have been training together all week, that's my three, we go with that to the end of the game? Because obviously he's got reinforcements in that position as well. But
yeah, sure. I think you know, as a coach, the coaches normally tend to lean towards keeping a stable back four, particularly if they've played well. And I think that's what he's probably thinking here. Get the energy on in midfield, wide players and front players. Give the back players a little bit of protection. Give them a breather.
Well, they've been superb. Mosquera, Diakabi and Tariga. They've another 5 minutes plus time added on to if they're going to help Valencia earn this point. Here's Enzo Barnechea. Forward to Diego Lopez.
So Valverde now's moved to right back. Very versatile player. And Güler playing in central midfield with Camavinga.
Godura wins the corner.
A lot of attacking players on the pitch now for Madrid. Going to push for the win. It'll be 2 points dropped if they don't, and certainly a point gained for Valencia if it stays as it is.
Well, as it is, Barcelona will go into their game against Betis later tonight, knowing that a win sends them 5 points clear with 8 games left. But still plenty of time. We know that Real Madrid are more than capable of a late goal, but it's Valencia at the moment who have this corner. Pepelu will swing it into the near post. It's cleared by Valverde, away by Endrick, and it comes out to Fran Perez.
This is going back in the box.
In it goes. Out comes Fran Gonzalez, claims the catch. That's, I mean, he's obviously good at a lot of things because he's Real Madrid's third choice keeper, but that's one of the things he's especially good at. And he comes out and claims that majestically. Valverde sends it forward to Rodrigo. Alaba offers himself on the overlap. Alaba with the cross. Endrick rising, but there was a push on Diakabi. Free kick to Valencia.
Yeah, it's another decent cross, but you know, the personnel in the box are not going to really thrive on that kind of delivery. It's not like when they had Joselu last season, who's a good at attacking crosses from wide areas, high balls. Endrick, Mbappe, Rodrigo, they need those low, hard crosses that are drilled across the box.
Died like a fucking butterfly.
Pete, Paul, you can probably hear the frustration, the tension levels are rising here, the groans, the whistles are ringing around Santiago Bernabéu. The fans, I should say, absolutely desperate to see their team get 3 points, but lots of frustration at the moment in the Bernabéu.
Yeah, understandable. The fans know how important it is to not drop points at this point of the season. Already a gap there between Madrid and Barcelona. Need to stay in touch with them, at least up until that Clásico game in May.
Tchouaméni forward to Valverde. Well, absolutely, we understand that Clásico will effectively decide the title race, but if there's more than a 3 point gap before it happens, then obviously that's a major advantage for Barcelona. Rudiger goes long towards Alaba. He nods it down to Bellingham. Bellingham to Rodrigo. And Rodrigo wins the corner off of Fran Perez. So another opportunity here for Real Madrid. Scored once from a corner. It was Arda Güler who delivered one of the corners in midweek against Real Sociedad that led to a goal. He put the ball on Shamani's head on that occasion, and this time it's Rudiger who gets on the end of the corner, but it goes over the top.
Decent enough ball in, it's just maybe a touch high. Madrid pushing as many real players as they can there. 7 in the box attacking that ball. Not easy when there's so many players and congestion in the penalty area.
Mamardashvili taking just that little bit longer with his kick, as he's entitled to do, as the clock ticks down towards 90. And we're about to find out how much time will be added on. Camavinga wins the header forward to Endrick. Pepelu. Camavinga nods it forward once more. 6 minutes.
Plenty of time for either team to create. Will there be a winner?
Well, you can almost guarantee with Real Madrid that there will be a chance, but as Paul says, will it be the winning goal? Endrick gets back on his feet. Referee plays on, and in the end he'll be disappointed with the cross, as will Rudiger and Rodrigo in the 6-yard box.
Oh, he's in such a good position there. He needed to use his right foot. Defender dives in. He does well to spring back up to his feet, and then at this moment now, a pull back with the right foot earlier.
Valverde. It's Rodrigo. Into Mbappe, but his layoff again goes to a Valencia player, and Rafa Mir can carry it forward here. He's got Fran Perez sprinting alongside him.
Well, this is 4v3 here.
Fran Perez with the cross. It was cut out by Güler, and can Madrid hurt Valencia on the counter? There are 4 players forward for Valencia. Güler out to Alaba.
Güler did really well there to stifle out that attack. That was dangerous.
Mbappe running at Mosquera.